It is absolutely essential that young people provide the stability for organizations of women to give it a try. This is actually, take a look. History will prove that this is the best men did do. Women are not better, but they are different. And we have to let them try because this is the best men did do, and they always go back to war. And that means the young are going to go back to war. And that means the young are going to face a world that is completely destroyed. And that means the young go to hell. Not as that's the literal standpoint of you ruined our world and there's nothing left for us to build with. So it is up to you to help women define a new society. It isn't that they can do better, it's just that they are different. So think differently, work differently, organize differently. Don't let money decide for you. Don't let weapons decide for you. Don't believe, fear, and obey that the university is God. They're not. They're just, former classmates. Presidents do not control everything. They're not rulers. They are employees. Remind them of that. But the primary focus of all things that mean change for this world is redress of grievances in this United States. We have to accept the fact that democracy must rule by law. And that law is something that we have to create for ourselves. And that includes what young people would change and what they believe they would change. And of course, media can be used to create the choices of a real world that would face these things. And there's any number of things that you can and will do if you're going to save this world, because that's what's required. We have to support each other. We have to let each other live. We have to help each other eat and drink and find shelter and so on, because that's where we are at. We are too big a world, or too many people in this world to do anything less. If we don't work together, we will kill each other. Or actually, it's men that will create the war, and the war will kill us all. So we have to do what we have to do, and that's what we have to do. And you are certainly a part of that. Being young is an unfortunate thing in this reality, as is true of the Vietnam War back when I was young. Why should I have to pay for your problems, for the things that you did, for the cost that you created, for the trials and tribulation and all the things that my elders did before me? And the end result of it is they face the same decisions, the same realities, the same everything. And unless there's a difference, unless something changes, it just repeats and repeats and repeats and repeats, as history proves true. So we need to do something different. We need to stop releasing so much fossil fuel so the world can survive. And that means you don't get to have all the air conditioning you want, by any means. And that means you can't heat anything and everything just because you have numbers. Numbers don't matter anymore. That means that banking cannot be the primary motivator of any society. It's not an economy, it's banking, and that means that's where they hide their money. Or more correctly, that's where they hide your money in inflation and in taxes that they couldn't collect, so they just plain spent it anyway and intend to collect from the young. Every debt that this society has created is for the young to pay. It's not for them to pay, it's for the young to pay. And of course, all debt is a promise. So if you say we're not going to pay that promise, then all the numbers fall into a pit, and that's the end of it. Because, that's the end of it. But the reality is reality. And if we don't provide for ourselves, then our reality fades away. In other words, We have to have a method of exchange that is fair and consistent, and that would be that people who raise food for you have to be paid, because the people who create tools and things for them have to be paid, and the people that support those people have to be paid, and the medicine has to be paid, and all of it. We have to have a fair and legitimate reality that is honest. We cannot live the lie that the university made for us. We cannot. Their claim of fantasies and their claim of imagination, their claim of delusion is all we need, and fantasy is all we have to have, and imagination is all we want. There are no consequences to us is absolutely a lie. There are plenty of consequences, and we are experiencing them. We're looking at the world with weapons of mass destruction that can and will cause our extinction, and we are so many that World War means there will be weapons of mass destruction used. That's just how it is, because there are so many, they will be overrunning everything. And of course, men don't want that. They want to have war, so they, I'm so strong, I'm so ignorant that they kill the world. Anyway, we have to have a new way of doing things, and that means international policing with world law that we the people created for ourselves. Not the dead and the damned and the powerful who think they can control everything with their pride, but the reality of what we can do for ourselves. And what we can do for ourselves is make the law that is enforced on them. Power seeks every form and every kind of hate. And that, of course, is what causes war. And that's what causes tragedy, and that's what keeps us from surviving as a world in a happy place. We have to accept the fact that that law is our only answer. That's because people believe they're free when they're not free. They believe that chaos is perfectly okay, and commit crimes and all kinds of things because they think somebody owes me, or you can't stop me, or yes I can. The things that the universities have taught. Everything that that life is being invaded. Everything by the universities, and that's a blanket statement, because it's just like saying it's government. Well, government is people, just like universities are people. And all of any group is not all bad and is not all good. Doesn't matter who it is. Nobody's perfect. So we have to weed out what is a lie and what is a terrorist and what is a traitor and what is a thief and all that. We have to weed them out, and we have to use redress to do that. That's where young come in to help us do that. You can't just say, well, the old did what the old did, and so you can't. We are responsible for our world. You can't say, like religion does, that God will do it. We don't have to do nothing, which is what they all say. So you need to enforce the fact that that they can't hide either. They are still a large group, and they can be a very big help. And they need to be a very big help, even though they're going to hide instead. Force them out into the open. Just like everything else, you have to organize, you have to, the logistics of it, the military is military, and they understand the logistics of, we have to do this, and we have to do that, and we have to have this, because that's just who we are, and that's how these things are done. And these things are done when we can converse with each other. Rather than what COVID did was to separate and remove everybody from their own opinion. That was a terrible Nazi crisis of stupidity. Your mask did not help you a bit. Think about it for a minute. if your mask is collecting a biological agent that's, keeping it, then whenever you handle your mask, your fingers get all over it. And the mask itself was not nearly fine enough to stop the virus that you're trying to stop, so which means it just went right on through. They stole your face for nothing. They enforced a vaccine that will perhaps kill you, mutilate you, could be a catalyst or something in the future that is going to just horrid, because they were a cult. They believed the university was God. The university can't be wrong, and everybody is wrong at times. And they did not prove anything about COVID. They did not prove anything about COVID. Only the fact that this America could turn into Nazi Germany in a heartbeat, as it tried to do, and it almost did. Because, there was a tiny few that started to say, well, I'm not just going to obey, I want proof, and took off their mask, and that was the only thing that, kept you from sliding into the gutter of sewage. That is human behavior. Stop it. Understand that we have to think. Understand that nature gives you the chance to be given it a time, like human animals are. They have time. They want, they believe, they fear, just like you. But the difference between being a human alive and being a human animal is the ability to think, the ability to understand that there is a difference between knowing what the future can be and just letting the future be what it will be, because you didn't have a choice. We have a choice. We have a choice. We have to make ourselves obey the truth. You should understand that, clearly. We have to make ourselves obey the truth. No, you can't just decide what you want to decide and call that good. No, you can't be like Trump and say that, global warming doesn't exist. No, you can't. Because it will kill us. It will kill us all. The world itself is at risk. That could not be more true. The world itself is at risk. And your future as a world, as life, as humanity, as young, is dependent upon what you choose today. Because the world can be killed to the point where it will not recover. Humanity has built that fact, has made all the weapons for that fact, has created biological disease for that fact, has, created robotic armies to slaughter and herd you as that fact. There is nothing in this world that is not open for extinction. The door is there. We have to do better, or our reality as a living species on this earth is going to end. And we're going to take all life with us. Just like those who create a forest fire on purpose, they don't just hate you, they also kill every living thing in the forest that cannot escape the fire. They kill everything. They kill all that life. And you are responsible for what you do. Truth will follow you no matter where you go. What you did do when you were a child is something that you did do, and it is true. This is the facts. What you did do as an adult is something you did do. When you chose to kill somebody, or you chose to hurt somebody, or whatever it is, that is your truth. And the only way you can avoid the consequences of your truth is to do something that helps other people instead. Love gives us something to be happy about. It is a happy thing. It is a valued thing. But you cannot, find it if you are sad and hide from it. You have to step out, make the commitment to love, accept the fact that there will be people who fail you. Everybody, gets failed. Everybody has to face the fact that, yes, I loved someone, and yes, they failed me, and so on and so on. Life is like that. And of course, the end result is that you identify yourself by the things that you do when you are faced with choices that you did not want to make. And I understand you don't want to make any of these choices. You want what you want, and you want everything that the future or the past has been. You want to be just like the people that has lived the last 50 years without consequences. Free as a bird, so to speak. No consequences for me. But of course that wasn't true. They stole the future from you. They stole it. And they said, let them die. You need to correct that, or you will die.